Fox News alert, Israel is at war. That's the declaration from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after Palestinian militants launched surprise rocket attacks from Gaza overnight. The barrage reportedly killing at least 22 as Hamas fighters continue to infiltrate Israeli territory. Florida Congressman and House Armed Services Committee member Carlos Gimenez joins us now. Congressman, I know this issue is one that you pay very close attention to and involved with. As you see the news this morning, what's your reaction?
My reaction is Prime Minister Netanyahu, his prime duty is to protect the Israeli people. He's going to have to do what he has to do in order to protect the Israeli people. Look, I've been there a number of times to Israel. I've seen just how close some of those villages are, Israeli villages are to the Gaza Strip, and so I expect this. It's going to take a while, but I expect at the end that the Israeli military will handle the situation and restore peace. Unfortunately, there's going to be more bloodshed before it gets better. And
we'll continue to report on that story as it develops throughout the morning. I want to move to this domestic politics with you as well, Congressman. 45 Republicans have now called to change the rules in the House, to overhaul the rules after former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted. The GOP, you guys, are currently looking at a debate between Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan running for House Speaker. That is where we stand today. There could be more names that perhaps enter that race. But let's talk about this decision and this push to change the motion threshold to vacate. This is what the House, this is a GOP colleagues on Chamber Rules wrote. They said they're ashamed and embarrassed by what happened on the floor this week. We refuse to allow the 8 members who abandoned or undermined our conference to dictate every outcome, including the selection of the House Speaker. Why, in your estimation, Congressman, or is it in your estimation, Congressman, a big problem that you had a single member that could bring a motion to vacate? What is the threshold that you want? Tell me how you want this reformed.
Well, my threshold that I want is to have 50% plus 1 of the majority conference dictate before you can have a motion to vacate. They have to be in agreement. That means well over 100 of our members would have to agree. At least over half of our members would have to say, look, we want a new speaker, and then that motion to vacate can come to the floor. This one member motion to vacate is insanity. We knew it back in January when it was agreed to. It was agreed to in order to get us past the contentious speaker race where we had 200 GOP members wanting Kevin McCarthy, and then we had some folks that did not want. But the rules had always stated that whoever the conference voted for, that's who everybody in the conference was going to vote for. Those rules, I guess, were thrown out on that speaker's race, and because of that, we ended up with this one-person motion to vacate. We have seen the results of that. It creates chaos. I've tasted chaos, and I don't want to taste it again. I don't think the American people want to taste it again. We want stability, and that's why we need the threshold to be raised.
Might I offer this, Congressman? You described it as insanity, but it's an insanity that the GOP conference signed up for. It was a deal that was made to strike a deal to make Kevin McCarthy Speaker, and now that deal was executed. And perhaps it did cause some momentary chaos, but shouldn't it be? It's a strategy. It's a strategy that we saw played out this week, and perhaps there's some embarrassment involved in that strategy for Republicans. But isn't it a strategy that could only be evaluated in retrospect? Isn't it something, as we see move forward, who is the new speaker, what is accomplished by the new speaker, and what it may take to come together? That is how we should judge this action. It's hard to know in the moment, but only the fruits or the poison of the strategy.
I don't see any fruit of this strategy whatsoever. At any point, one individual can bring a motion to vacate. So if they somehow don't like something that the speaker has done, they can go against the will of the entire. In this case, it was 96%.
But he does still have to acquire the votes to go along with his motion to vacate for it to accomplish anything.
Yeah, but he only needs like 3 people to go along with him. He doesn't need even 8. All right, so we have such a small majority that if you have 2 or 3 or 4, in this case 4, let's say 5, you got 1 and 4. That's 5. That will then we'll lose the majority. All the Democrats will join with these 5, and then we have chaos again. That's not the way America's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be 4% outweighing the 96%. That's why it's insanity.
Let me ask you.
And it's going to cause chaos. And I don't care what the outcome is, okay?
You don't?
I really don't. No, I don't. The whole thing is 4% should not weigh 96%. That's not the American way. And so I know that we agreed to this rule. A lot of us thought it was insane when it was agreed to. We knew that it was going to come to this point, and this was all set up to fail by the same people that asked for that, because we knew it was going to happen eventually.
Really quickly, Congressman.
We've already seen it. We've already seen it. We don't need to see it again. Really
quickly, because they're going to press me for time on this, but Congressman Gates tweeted this out. He said that, picking up on something that Congressman Ro Khanna put out, that they'd raise the motion to vacate threshold up if there were certain compromises like a ban on congressional stock trading, term limits to 12 years, ban on political donations from lobbyists. Would that be a framework that you would be interested in raising the threshold to vacate?
No. I'm not going to be held hostage to 8 people. Sorry, ain't going to happen.
So no negotiation in your mind, no outcome on the strategy.
We can negotiate, maybe, but no. This is like, again, a gun being held to your head. Hey, we can create chaos anytime we want. We want these things. Well, let's debate those things inside the conference. Does the conference want those things? Just because 8 people, 4 people, 5 people want that. That is not the American way. That's hostage taking, and you don't negotiate with hostage takers.
I hear your point of view, Congressman. I truly do. There is another point of view that is the deal that you made, and it's upholding the terms of a deal that was made here months later. And it seems from that point forward, you should evaluate the deal that you made and perhaps negotiate for a better deal.
No, I'm negotiating for now. I'm negotiating for a better deal. I'm negotiating for sanity, not insanity. And that's my position. And now I'm going to be just as tough as they were back in January. So it's my right to be, just as tough as they were. I've seen what this causes. America has seen what the results of that rule caused, and we need to change the rule.
All right, Congressman Carlos Gimenez, thank you so much for the conversation.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.